you want to know the truth about Dubai real estate, you're in the right place. I'm about to save you thousands of dollars in real estate crash courses and months of confusion. In the next 40 minutes, you'll go from a complete beginner to knowing exactly how Dubai property works, what it costs, where to buy, and how to avoid the mistakes that destroy investments. By the end, you know already more than most people who've already bought property here. Look, Dubai real estate isn't complicated, but there's a lot of bullshit information out there. Instagram gurus selling courses without any real experience, TikTok agents pushing whatever pays the highest commission, regardless of whether it's a good investment or not. 2 weeks ago, a couple from London were talked into buying a studio in Jumeirah Village Circle because it was cheap. They were sold on their dream by a fake guru looking for a commission payday, without being told all the facts. They're now trying to rent it out, and they've had no tenants in 3 months. You know why? Because they bought a family-oriented unit in an area which is flooded with identical studios. Supply crushed demand, and now they're stuck paying for something that was supposed to be making them money. This mistake and hundreds more like it are completely avoidable, but only if you actually understand how this market works. So, I guess you're wondering why you should listen to me. Well, I'm Hugo. I'm the owner and director of House of Orange Real Estate, and I've sold over 250 million dirhams worth of Dubai real estate. I own properties here myself and worked with hundreds of investors, helping them break into one of the most lucrative real estate markets in the world, while avoiding all the mistakes that can turn the dream of owning property and investing in Dubai into a nightmare. This video is everything I have learned in over 100 successful real estate deals. It gives you all the facts without the bullshit, so you can start your property investment journey on the right foot. This is a little longer than all my other videos, but if you're serious about potentially putting $300, $500, $800,000 or more into the Dubai property market, believe me when I say it's worth every second and you should watch it right till the end. The information here could save you from making a terrible investment that crushes your dreams. You're about to learn exactly how to build tax-free wealth in one of the most fastest growing markets on earth. Let's get into it. Section 1. Property types. Let's start with the basics. What can you actually buy in Dubai as a foreigner? Well, there are 3 main property types: secondary market, off-plan, and distressed deals. Let me break down each one so you know exactly what you're looking at. Secondary market is a completed property. It's ready, it's built, you can walk through it today. Someone owns it right now. It's either an investor who's selling, an owner who's relocating, or a developer with unsold units from a completed project. Here's how it works. You find a property, you make an offer. If accepted, you sign a memorandum of understanding with a 10% deposit. Then you complete the purchase within 2 to 4 weeks. The moment you finish the transaction and you get your title deed, that property is yours. You can move in immediately, you can rent it out immediately, you can start generating income right away. The pros are obvious: no waiting, no construction risk or delays. You see exactly what you're buying. If you're after rental income and you want it now, secondary market makes sense. But the biggest downside is the higher upfront cost. You're paying full market price today, and that can seriously limit your appreciation potential compared to an off-plan because you're buying something that's already completed. Let me give you a real example. A 1-bedroom apartment in Business Bay, Dubai. It's a completed building, good condition, listed at 1.4 million dirham. That's about $380,000. You buy it, you furnish it for 40,000 dirham, and you rent it out for 90,000 dirham a year. That's a 6.4% rental yield before cost. You're cash flowing from month 1. That's the secondary market. Straightforward and immediate. But it doesn't give you the best opportunity to invest early and make the most appreciation. Now, let's talk off-plan. This is where most of the opportunity sits, but it's also where most people mess up if they don't know what they're doing. Off-plan means you're buying during construction. The property isn't finished yet. Sometimes construction hasn't even started. You're essentially pre-purchasing a property that can be completed in 1 to 4 years time, depending on the project. Here's the reality where most people get it wrong. Off-plan properties aren't necessarily cheaper than a secondary market. They're typically the same price or even more expensive than a secondary equivalent, but for a good reason. You're buying something brand new. That means more modern design, better quality, new facilities, and better amenities. Newer buildings command premium prices. So if the discount isn't the main benefit, why do people buy off-plan? Well, it's simple. Payment flexibility. This is huge. Instead of paying 1.2 million dirham upfront, you might pay a small booking deposit. Then, a 14 to 24% down payment. Then spread the rest over 2 to 3 years in installments. That 1.2 million dirhams worth of property might only require 40,000 to secure it. Then around 168,000 to 288,000 dirham for the down payment, depending on the developer. For people who don't want to deploy all their capital at once, this is very powerful. Plus, you're getting an early entry into a new development. This is another huge upside. You're getting into a brand new area or building before it's fully established. You're investing early into a new development, When you step in early, you have a good chance for capital appreciation as the area develops and gains popularity. New infrastructure goes in, new metro stations, new schools, new shopping centers. Property values in that area go up. If you pick the right project in the right emerging area, you can see a significant appreciation by the time the building completes. Then there's the immediate golden visa eligibility. The moment you pay your down payment, you sign the SPA, and you get your Okud, you're eligible for a golden visa, even though you haven't paid the full amount yet and construction hasn't finished. But is it safe? This is a question I often get asked. Off-plan in Dubai is 95% safe when it comes down to the construction risk because of the strict rules from the Dubai Land Department. Escrow account, RERA registration, milestone-based fund releases, your money is protected. The only real downside in my experience are potential delays. Even good developers can run 6 to 12 months late and your money is locked up during that time. And if you pick a bad developer or an area that doesn't develop as expected, you could be stuck with a property that doesn't appreciate or rent well. But when you pick the right property in a right emerging area, off-plan can be incredibly profitable. A real example, a client bought an off-plan in Business Bay, 1 bedroom, 1.1 million dirham, about $300,000 US. He put down his booking deposit and paid the down payment. Total initial outlay is around 180,000 dirham. Over the next 2 years, he made installment payments. By the time the building was finished, he paid the full 1.1 million dirhams. But similar units in the same building were now selling for 1.4 million dirhams. Because Business Bay had developed significantly during those 2 years, he gained 300,000 dirham in equity. That's about 82,000 US, just from appreciation during construction. Plus, he had a golden visa locked in the moment he got it. That's why off-plan works when you do it right. It's not about getting a discount up front. It's about your payment flexibility, early entry into an emerging area, and positioning yourself for appreciation as the area develops. And finally, distress deals. These are rare, but when they appear, they can be incredible opportunities. Distress means someone who needs to sell urgent. Maybe a divorce, financial problems, relocation, foreclosure. You get the picture. They need cash fast and they accept low market value to get it. Discount range is usually 10 to 20% below the market price. But there's a catch. You need all cash and you need to move quickly. These deals don't sit around. You also need connections. Distressed deals don't show up normally on property portals. They come through an agent's networks or a bank handling foreclosures or private contacts. This isn't a strategy you can rely on. It's opportunistic. If you're in the market and a distressed deal crosses your path, great. But you can't build an investment plan around it waiting for them. So here's how to think about this. You need income now, secondary market. Buy something completed and rent it out immediately. Start cash flowing. An off-plan from a top-tier developer can give you lower entry cost, a better payment plan, and more potential appreciation during construction. Do you have cash and patience? Keep an eye out for distress opportunities, but don't wait around for them. Most of my clients opt in for off-plan opportunities from proven developers with outstanding track records from the appreciation upside. In my opinion, this is the smartest play to make in Dubai real estate. But the best results come from working with someone who truly lives and breathes the market. They have the connections in place, inside information from developers, and everything else to make sure your purchase is stress-free. Now, let's talk about how you can actually pay for those properties, because there are more options than you think. Section 2. Payment methods. Okay, so there are 3 main ways to pay for a property in Dubai: cash, developer payment plans, and mortgages. And yeah, crypto exists, but I'll explain why that's mostly hype at the end. Let's start with cash. That's the simplest route. You find a property, you agree on the price, you transfer the funds, and the deal is done in days. The benefits are obvious: speed, no bank approval process, no interest payments, and serious negotiation power. When a seller knows you're paying in cash, they know the deal will close fast. I've seen cash buyers negotiate 5 to 10% just because they can close in a week. And it's fairly straightforward. Most of the time, this sort of deal is completed through a third-party company through the use of a manager check. But it's best to consult with a specialist if you're going down this route. But before you do that, there are other financial considerations most people overlook. The purchase price isn't your only cost. Let's say you're buying a property for 1 million dirham. That's about 272,000 US dollars. The purchase price is 1 million dirham, right? Then the DLD transfer fee is 4% of the property value. That's 40,000 dirham. Plus your agent commission, usually 2% plus VAT, that's another 20,000 dirham. Then there are other miscellaneous fees: title deed insurance, registration, an NOC from the developer. That's maybe 5,000 dirham in total. So your total purchase price is 1,065,000 dirham for your property. So that 1 million dirham property costs you actually 1,065,000 to own. People budget for the purchase price and forget the rest. Don't be that person. Cash is clean and it's fast. but make sure you're budgeting the full amount or the additional expenses can creep up to you. Next is developer payment plans. This is how most off-plan buyers structure their payments. Instead of paying everything up front, you spread payments over the construction period. Here's the typical structure. You pay a booking deposit. This is a small payment to hold the unit while your paperwork is getting prepared. Usually it's around 40,000 dirham. Sometimes it's 2% of the property price, sometimes it's 100,000 dirham. It's depending on the developer. This gives you 1 to 2 weeks to get everything ready for the actual down payment. Then you pay your down payment. This is typically 10 to 20% of the property price, plus the 4% DOD fee. So, if you're buying a 1.2 million dirham property, your down payment might be 14%. That's 10% to the developer, plus 4% DOD fees, a total of 168,000 dirham. Or some developers want 20% down, plus the 4% DOD fee. That will be 24% total, which is 288,000 dirham. This down payment goes straight into the escrow account. This is when the deal becomes official. After that, you got your construction installments. Usually 40 to 60% of the property price paid in stages during the build. These are spread over 1 to 3 years depending on the construction timeline. Then you got the handover payment. The final 20% or 40% paid when the building completes and you get your keys. Let me show you a real breakdown. You're buying an off-plan property worth 1.2 million dirham. That's about 327,000 US dollars. You pay a booking deposit to hold the unit. 14,000 dirham. You get 2 weeks to arrange the rest. Your down payment, 10% plus 4% DLD, equivalent to 40% total. That 168,000 dirham that goes straight into the escrow and makes the deal official. During the construction, you pay 50% of the property price. That's 600,000 dirham. Let's say the construction takes 2 years. You're making payments every 3 months. That's 8 payments of 75,000 dirham each. Let's get to the handover payment. You have 30% remaining. That's 360,000 dirham. You pay this when the building is completed and you get your keys. Here's why this structure is very powerful. You're paying only 40,000 dirham upfront to secure the unit. Then you've got a couple of weeks to get your finances sorted for 168,000 dirham down payment. For the 168,000 dirham down payment. After that, you're spreading the remaining amount over 2 to 3 years instead of paying it all in one day. Your initial real commitment is 208,000 dirham in total. Then there's the booking plus the down payment. You're managing 75,000 AED in installments every few months. For people who have strong cash flow but don't want to deploy all their capital at once, this works beautifully. Plus, and this is critical, you get your golden visa eligibility immediately after you pay the down payment and you register with the DLD. So you don't need to wait till your property is finished. You don't need to pay the full amount first. Registration after the down payment triggers their visa eligibility. That's the structure. A small booking to hold the unit, a down payment plus DLD fee to make it official, then manageable installments during the construction, and the final payment at the handover. Now mortgages. This is where people get confused. Because mortgage access in Dubai is different depending on whether you're a resident or not. If you're a UAE resident with an Emirates ID, getting a mortgage is straightforward. Most banks will lend to you. If you're a non-resident, it's trickier. Some banks offer a non-resident mortgage, but the terms are stricter and the rates are higher. So let's break down the basics. Down payment. An expat needs 20 to 25% down. UAE nationals get 15 to 20%. So if you're buying a 1 million dirham property as an expat, you need 200 to 250,000 dirham in cash. The loan to value ratio. Banks will lend you 75 to 80% of the property value maximum. That's where the 20 to 25% down payment comes from. Interest rates. Right now you're looking at a 4 to 6% depending on the bank and your financial profile. Fixed rates for the first few years, then variable. Income requirements. Most banks want to see 15,000 to 20,000 dirham monthly in income. That's about 4 to 5k US dollars per month. Emirates MBD, Dubai Islamic, ADCB, Mashreq are the main players for expat mortgages. Approval timeline 2 to 4 weeks if your paperwork is clean. Here's the reality check. Most international buyers don't use mortgages because if you're not a UAE resident, getting approval is a pain in the ass. You need to prove income, provide bank statements, deal with international documentation. It's doable if you're 100% set on this method, but in my opinion, this is not the way to go. Paying cash or using a developer payment plan is way simpler and more efficient if you're a non-resident. If you're already living long in Dubai with a residency and a stable income, I mean, a mortgage makes sense. You can leverage the bank's money and keep your cash liquid. If you're buying from overseas, developer payment plans are usually the better route. So, on the quick note of crypto, some developers, they accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT. But this is definitely not mainstream. And you need to know the ins and outs of how it works, and that would need a different video. If you're determined to use crypto, find a realtor who has managed crypto payments before and make sure the developer has track records with crypto payments. Most people stick to traditional payment methods, but crypto can be an option if the right expertise is in play. Alright, this is how the payment works. Cash for speed and negotiation power. Developer payment plans for lower upfront cost and flexibility. Mortgage if you're a resident with stable income. Next, I'm going to show you which developer you can actually trust. because this is where people lose everything if they get it wrong. Section 3, developer landscape. This section might be the most important one in this entire video, because picking the wrong developer is how people lose everything. I'm going to show you exactly which developers you can trust and which ones are risky, and the red flags that scream run away. I've broken this into 3 tiers based on track record, delivery history, and risk level. Tier 1, the elite. Tier 1, these are the elite level developers. 0 project failures, proven track records, spanning decades. If you want to reduce your risk as low as humanly possible, you buy from these developers. Emaar. This is the biggest developer in Dubai. They built the Burj Khalifa, they built the Dubai Mall, they developed most of downtown Dubai. They've been operating since the 1990s. They delivered thousands of units, and they have never missed a major handover timeline. Their properties are premium priced, you're paying more upfront, but you know with almost absolute certainty that your project will finish on time and the quality will be there. If you're new to Dubai and you want the safest possible investments, buy Emaar. Nakheel. Nakheel developed the Palm Jumeirah, that iconic man-made island. They're government-backed, which means they have serious financial muscle behind them. And they have massive scale, reliable delivery, strong resale value because everyone knows the Nakheel name. Again, you're paying premium prices, but you're getting a guaranteed delivery and a property that holds their value. Miraz. Miraz does high-end lifestyle developments. Blue Waters Islands, City Walk, La Mer. These are beautiful projects, excellent designs, impeccable track record. They focus on luxury and they deliver. If you're buying a Miraz project, you're getting quality construction and strong rental demand because their locations are always that premium. To put it simply, Tier 1 developers means you pay more, but you sleep well at night knowing it's going to go smoothly. Tier 2. These developers have strong track records. They've been around for years, they finish projects, but they're not quite the elite level. The Mac. The Mac's been in Dubai for over 20 years. Luxury focus, aggressive sale tactics, they build a lot of units. Now they do occasionally run late up to 12 months, but it isn't common. And they do finish their projects. The quality is good, resale values are solid. Just be aware that there could be potential delays and factor that into your timeline. Shoba. Shoba is an Indian developer with over 25 years experience in the UAE. And here's what's impressive. They never missed a handover deadline in Dubai. Never. Quality builds, strong attention to detail, they're methodical and they deliver on time. Shoba properties appreciate well and they're rent out easily. Shoba is one of the safest bets outside the Tier 1. Ellington. Ellington is a boutique developer. They have smaller projects, but they're designed forward. They focus on aesthetics and quality finishing. They have proven delivery and their properties look great and attract premium tenants, but they have limited inventory, so resale values stay very strong. It's a very good choice if you want something that stands out visually. Pinghati. They are design focused. Mid-market pricing with a growing reputation. They've delivered projects, but they're newer compared to the others. Some delays have happened, so you need to watch the timelines carefully. But if you like the design and you're okay with being a bit more risky, they're worth considering. But I wouldn't put them into the same category as Shoba or Ellington yet. Tier 2 developers have strong track records. Occasional delays, but they get the job done. Tier 3. Emerging players. These developers are newer, limited track records, higher risk, but show a lot of potential. Azizi. It's a developer that does a lot of volume. They build a lot of units, usually at a more affordable price range. They've had some delays, but generally deliver. Their projects are more budget friendly. That means they attract a different tenant profile. It's a solid option if you're looking for higher rental yields and in more affordable areas. Just don't expect ultra premium luxury finishing. Object One. Object One is a fairly new developer in Dubai. They've been operational since 2021, but they've already launched 14 projects and 3 are about to hand over. Most of their projects are in affordable areas like GVC, Arjan, Dubai Land, which are very affordable. Iman. Iman developers is also quite new to the market, but they've already launched 13 projects to this point, and they're fairly good when it comes down to the appreciation and the rental yield. They show quality buildings into affordable areas, but make sure a tenant with a bit higher budget will definitely pick the good building in this area. So that's where Iman stands out. So here's my take. If you're new to Dubai real estate, avoid Tier 3 completely, unless you have the advice of a skilled realtor who knows developers and the ins and outs of the specific project. If you're experienced and you're comfortable with taking a little bit higher risk for potentially better pricing, Tier 3 can work, but go in with your eyes open. Now, let's talk red flags. These are warning signs that tell you to walk away immediately. First one, no RERA registration. Every legitimate project in Dubai must be registered with RERA. If it's not registered, don't touch it. No clear escrow account. Your payment should go into a dedicated escrow account managed by a bank. If the developer can't show you the escrow details, walk away. Promises that sound too good. 10% yearly ROI guaranteed. Guaranteed buyback programs. Rental guarantees that seem impossible. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. A developer with 0 completed projects in Dubai, it's also a red flag. They might have projects in other countries, but it doesn't mean shit. If they haven't finished anything in Dubai, you're taking a massive risk. So, payments directly into developer accounts, payments should go into the escrow, not directly into the developer. If you're asking you to wire money to their personal or company account, walk away. Pressure tactics. This is the last unit. Prices go up tomorrow. Limited time offer. Legitimate developers don't need to pressure you. Good projects sell themselves. If you see any of these red flags, don't invest. I don't care how good the deal sounds. Here's what I recommend. New investors, stick to tier 1, Imar, Nakhil, Miraz, pay the premium and sleep well at night. Experienced investors who understand the market, tier 2 is fine. Shoba, Demak, Ellington, just factor in the potential delays. Tier 3, only if you know what you're doing and you're okay with taking a higher risk. Look, if you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I want to invest in Dubai, but I need help navigating this, that's exactly what I do. I work with international investors every single day. I help them find the right property and avoid bad developers, and structure deals that actually make sense. There's a consultation link in the description, so if you're serious about moving forward, book a call. Come with your budget and your timeline and your investment goals. We'll figure out if Dubai makes sense for you and what your next steps should be. Alright, let's keep going. Next, I'm breaking down the Dubai map because location determines everything. Section 4. Dubai map decoded. When people say location, 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 they aren't joking. Location determines everything in real estate. You can buy the right property type from the right developer, but if you pick the wrong area, you're screwed. This section breaks down where to actually buy in Dubai. But first, you need to understand one critical distinction. In Dubai, there are leasehold areas and freehold areas. Freehold means you own the property forever. You can sell it whenever you want. You have the full ownership rights. This is where foreigners buy. Leasehold means you're essentially renting the land for a set period, usually 99 years. So you don't own it outright. Freehold investors can hold leasehold properties. But for the sake of the video, every location I'm about to mention is freehold, so you don't need to worry about it right now. Just know it exists. Now, let's talk about the main areas. Downtown Dubai. This is the most iconic area. Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall, Dubai Fountain, the postcard image of Dubai. Here's where you find luxury apartments, high-end retail, fine dining, and everything's premium. Rental demand is consistent. High-earning professionals, expats working in finance or tech, and people who want to live in the center of everything. Rental yields sit around 5 to 7% annually. Not the highest in Dubai, but the demand is rock solid. Appreciation is steady. This is an established area. It's not going to double overnight, but it's not going to crash either. It's stable and has predictable growth. Property types are mostly apartments, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom apartments, and some penthouses if you have serious money. It's mostly populated by expats, wealthy locals, and business professionals. People who prioritize location and prestige over the space. If you want a safe, prestigious investment with consistent demand, downtown works. Dubai Marina. Waterfront living, high-rise towers, restaurant, cafes, and nightlife. This is where young professionals want to be. What's there? Over 200 residential towers, Marina Walk, GBR Beach nearby, and everything's walkable. Rental demand is very strong. Tenant profile skews younger. Singles, young couples, people in their late 20s to early 40s. Yields are higher than downtown. You're looking to 6 to 8% annually. The area attracts people who want lifestyle and convenience. Appreciation has been good, but Marina is a mature market now. It's not the wealth growth area it was 10 years ago. It's still solid, just not explosive. Property types are mainly apartments. Studios and 1-bedrooms dominate. Some 2-bedrooms and 3-bedrooms do also, but the majority of demand is for smaller units. Who lives there? Young expat professionals, people working in Media City, Internet City, or the nearby free zones, people who want beaches, restaurants, and social life. Marina works if you're targeting young professional tenants. And you want strong rental yields. Business Bay. This is the area that had insane growth over the past few years. What's there? Office towers mixed with residential. The Dubai Canal runs through it. It's a live, work, play concept. Rental demand is very strong because you've got people working in this area who want short commutes. Yields are some of the highest in Dubai, 7 to 8% depending on the building and the unit type. Appreciation has been excellent. Properties were selling for 800,000 3 years ago, and now they're selling over 1 million dirhams. This area has been on fire. Property types are mostly 1 to 2-bedroom apartments, some studios, and it's designed for professionals with small families. Who live here? People working in Business Bay or nearby, expats who prioritize convenience and don't need family-focused amenities. Business Bay is where a lot of people are looking to invest right now because of the strong yields, strong appreciation, and the consistant demand. Dubai Hills Estate. This is a family territory. What's there? There's a golf course, parks, schools nearby, low-rise buildings, and villas. It's a proper residential community. Rental demand is high, but only for families. If you're buying here, your tenant is a family with kids. That's the profile. Yields are lower than Business Bay and Marina, so you're looking around 5 to 6% annually. But the demand is very stable because families stay longer with lower turnover. Appreciation has been strong. This is a newer development and it's grown significantly. Quality infrastructure, good schools, and a family-friendly environment. Property types include villas, townhouses, and apartments. But the sweet spot is a 2 to 3 bedroom apartments or townhouses. Who lives here? Expat families, long-term residents, people with kids who want green space, parks, and a community feel. Dubai Hills works if you're targeting families and you want a stable long-term tenant. Arabian Ranches. Arabian Ranches 1, 2, and 3. They are established gated communities, very family focused. What's there? You have family parks, community malls, schools nearby, and quiet streets. It has a suburban feel. This is for younger singles and families. Rental demand is exclusively for families. You're renting to people who want space, safety, and a neighborhood environment. Yields are moderate, 4 to 6% annually, lower than Business Bay, but you're getting a longer lease terms and stable tenants. Appreciation has been steady in Arabians 1 and 2, not explosive, because it's a mature community and prices are stable and growing gradually. The last 3 years, Arabian Ranches 3 has been increasing 8 to 10% yearly on capital appreciation, which is very, very good, because villas and townhouses are quite the demand in Dubai at the moment, because there isn't a lot of space to build these type of communities. So the property types are mainly villas and townhouses. This isn't an apartment market. Who lives there? Mainly families and expats planning to stay in Dubai for a few years. People with multiple kids, people who want backyards and community pools. Arabian Ranches is for investors who want long-term stable family tenants. Palm Jumeirah, the iconic man-made island. It's luxury territory. What's there? Beach access, high-end villas, luxury apartment buildings, the Atlantis resorts, and 5-star everything. Rental demand comes from two groups: wealthy residents who want beachfront living and tourists who are doing short-term rental. Yields vary, 5 to 8% depending whether you're doing long-term or short-term rentals. Short-term rental can push higher if you're allowed and you manage it well. Appreciation has been excellent. Palm properties have seen massive growth and high demand, limited supply, and an iconic location. Property types are villas and apartments. Both work, but villas command premium prices. Who lives here? High net worth individuals and people who want status over luxury. And vacation homeowners. Palm Jumeirah is premium pricing, but if you can afford it, demand is strong and appreciation has been great. Now, here's what you need to understand. Location determines your tenant's profile, and your tenant's profile determines whether your property rents. Buy a studio in Dubai Hills, you're going to struggle. Families don't want studios. Buy a 3-bedroom in Marina, same problem. Young professionals don't need 3 bedrooms. Match your property type to the area's natural tenant base. Business Bay, Dubai Marina, and downtown. Studios to 1 bedrooms target young professionals. Dubai Hills Arabian Ranches, 2 to 3 bedroom apartments. Villas and townhouses target families. Palm Jumeirah, luxury units for high net worth individuals, luxury units for high net worth tenants, or vacation rentals. Get this wrong and your property sits empty. Get it right and you rent immediately at top rates. Next, I'm walking you through the actual purchase process, step by step, document by document. Section 5. Purchase process. Alright, you know what you can buy, how to pay, and which developers to trust, and where to invest. Now, let's walk through the actual purchase process. What happens from the moment you decide to buy until you get your keys. There are 2 different processes. One is for ready properties and the other one is for off-plan. I'll break down both. Let's start with ready properties. This is buying something that's already completed. So, step 1. Find the property. You're either working with an agent like me or searching the property portals like Property Finder or Bayut, and you find something you like. Step 2. Make an offer. You view the property, you decide you want it, you make an offer. The seller either accepts your offer, counters your offer, or rejects. Now, let's say they accept. Step 3. Due diligence. This is where you verify everything. Check if the title deed is valid and issued from the Dubai Land Department. Confirm there are no outstanding service charges or DIWA bills. And make sure you can get the NOC from the developer. NOC means no objection certificate. It's a developer saying they have no objection to the sale. Most buildings require this. Your agent or your lawyer handles this. Don't skip this. Step 4. Sign the MOU. MOU stands for Memorandum of Understanding. This is the initial agreement between you and the seller. You put down a 10% deposit. This shows you're serious. The MOU locks in the price and the terms. From this point, you've got usually 2 to 4 weeks to complete the transaction. Step 5. Arrange financing if needed. If you're getting a mortgage, this is where the bank does a valuation and finalizes approval. If you're paying in cash, you're just preparing the funds to transfer. Step 6. Book your trustee office appointment. This is where the ownership officially transfers. You and the seller both need to be there, or you need to give someone power of attorney to represent you if you're not in Dubai. Step 7. Attend at the trustee office. Need to show up with your documents, a valid passport, MOU, NOC from the developer, seller's title deed, and proof of payment. The seller brings their documents and you both sit with the trustee officer. Step 8. Complete the payment. By now, you give the manager check to the trustee officer. Now, once all the documents are verified and your manager check clears, then you can proceed with the transfer. Step 9. Receive your title deed. So yeah, at step 8, you've given your manager check and all the documents to the trustee officer. Once all the documents are cleared from the Dubai Land Department, you can get your title deed transferred to your name. Now you officially own the property. This can happen the same day or within a few days depending how busy the Dubai Land Department is. Step 10. Register utilities. You get an email from DIWA to register your utilities fees under your name, electricity and water, and cooling if applicable. You pay your DL deposit, usually it's 2,130 dirham for apartments, and you're done. That's the ready property process from offer to ownership. You're looking at 2 to 4 weeks time if you're paying cash, 4 to 8 weeks time if you're using a mortgage. Now off plan, this is different because you're buying during construction. Step 1, reserve the unit. You find an off-plan project that you like. You pay a booking deposit to hold this unit. This is usually a small amount, 40,000 dirham, sometimes 2% of the purchase price, and sometimes is 100,000 dirham depending on the developer. This holds the unit for 1 to 2 weeks time while you prepare the down payment and while the developer gets your documents prepared, such as the booking form and the SPA. Within those 1 to 2 weeks time, you need to pay your down payment. This is typically 10 to 20% of the property price, plus the 4% DLD registration fee. So, if you're buying a property for 1.2 million dirham and the developer wants a 10% down payment, you're paying 14%. That's 120,000 dirhams to the developer, plus 48,000 dirham for DLD. The total is 168,000 dirham. If the developer wants 20% down, you're paying a total of 24%. That's 240,000 dirham plus 48,000 in Dubai department fees. The total is 288,000 dirham. This is the down payment that goes directly into the escrow account, not the developer's company account. You pay into the bank held escrow. You get a receipt from the bank confirming your payment is in escrow. Step 3. Sign the SPA. SPA stands for Sales Purchase Agreement. This is a legal contract between you and the developer. It outlines the payment schedule, the handover date, and the specifications of the unit. It has everything inside. Read this carefully or have a lawyer read it. This document controls everything. Step 4. Receive your okud. After you've paid your down payment and you've signed the SPA, you receive your okud from the Dubai department. The okud is your pre-title deed. It's an official proof that you own this property. This is what makes you eligible for the golden visa even though construction hasn't finished. You can start your visa application because you have the okud. Step 5 is you pay the installments. The developer has registered this project with RERA with a dedicated escrow account. All your payments go into this escrow account. The bank releases the funds to the developer based on the construction timelines. This protects you. If the developer goes bankrupt, your money is in escrow, not in their pocket. Step 6. You follow your payment schedule in the SPA. Usually you're paying every few months tied to the construction process. Your foundation is completed, you pay 10%. Structure is completed, you pay another 15%, so on. All your payments go into the escrow account. You get your receipts confirming your payment. Step 7. Construction updates. A good developer sends regular updates. Photos, progress reports, timelines. You're not doing anything during this phase except making your scheduled payments and monitoring the process. Step 8. Snagging inspection. When the building is nearly finished, you get invited for a snagging inspection. Snagging means checking the defects. Cracks, paint issues, fixtures that don't work, anything that needs fixing. You make a list and the developer fixes everything before the handover. Don't skip this. Check everything in the unit. Step 9. Final payment and handover. Construction is completed. You make your final handover payment. Usually this is 20% or 40% of the purchase price. It's depending on your payment plan. Once this clears, the developer hands you over the keys. Now you have physical possession of your property. Step 10. Receive your title deed. After the handover and your final payment, the developer transfers the title deed to your name. This can take a few weeks. The title deed is your full legal ownership issued by the Dubai Land Department. Once you have the title deed, you officially own a ready property outright. The whole off-plan process from booking to handover is 1 to 4 years depending on the project timeline. But remember, you get the golden visa eligibility after you pay your down payment. You sign the SPA, you receive your okud, and you don't need to wait until the construction to finish. Quick note on the documents. Whether you're buying ready or off-plan, here's what you need. You need a valid passport that's non-negotiable. UAE residency, if you have one, not required but helpful. You might need proof of funds, bank statements showing you can actually pay for the property. Mortgage. If you're going for a mortgage, you need a pre-approval. And if you are a resident, you need to show your Emirates ID. That's pretty much it. The process isn't complicated if you have to write paperwork, but I do advise working with someone who has been through this process many times to make sure you have what you need every step of the way. It limits delays and ensures you get the results you want. The next section I'm covering is the legal protection that keeps your money safe. This is what prevents the nightmare scenarios you hear about in other markets. Section 6. Legal protection. This is a section that separates Dubai from the markets where people lose everything. Dubai has 3 main systems that protect your investment: RERA, escrow accounts, and DLD registration. Let me break down exactly what each one does and how that keeps your money safe. RERA stands for Real Estate Regulatory Agency. This is the government body that regulates everything related to real estate in Dubai. Every developer must register their project with RERA. Every agent must be licensed by RERA. And every rental contract goes to the RERA system. Here's what RERA does for you. They set the rules for how developers can sell their property. Payment schedules, escrow requirements, marketing standards, and it's all regulated. They handle disputes. If you have a problem with a developer or an agent, RERA steps in. They maintain a public registry that you can check if the project is actually registered. And you can verify an agent's license. Everything's transparent. Before you buy an offline project, go to the RERA website and check if the project is registered. If it's not listed, walk away. It doesn't matter what the developer promises. No RERA registrations means no legal protection. RERA is your first line of defense. Use it. Next is escrow accounts. This is a system that protects your payments during construction. Here's how it works. When a developer launches an off-plan project, they must open a dedicated escrow account with a bank. One account per project. All buyer payments go into the escrow account, not to the developers, to the bank holding the escrow. Foundation complete, the bank releases 20%. Structure completes, another 25%, and so on. This means the developer can only access your money as they actually build the project. If the developer goes bankrupt or abandons the project, your money is still in escrow. It doesn't disappear into their company account. RERA oversees this entire process. They verify the escrow accounts and they monitor the funds releases. So let me walk you straight to exactly how an off-plan purchase works with escrow protection. Step 1. You book the unit. You pay a reservation fee. Usually it's 5 to 10% of the property price. This holds the unit while paperwork is getting prepared. Step 2. You fill out the booking form. This is your offer to purchase. It confirms which unit you're buying and at what price. Step 3. You pay the down payment that goes directly into the escrow account, not to the developer's company account, into the bank-held escrow. You get the receipt from the developer confirming your payments is in escrow. Step 4. You sign the SPA. That's a sales purchase agreement, the legal contract between you and the developer outlining everything. Payment schedules, handover dates, and unit specifications. Step 5. You receive your OCUD. OCUD is your pre-title deed. It's issued by the Dubai Land Department and prove the property is registered under your name. This is what makes you eligible for the golden visa, even before construction finishes. Step 6. Construction happens. You make your scheduled payments according to the SPA. All payments go into escrow. The developer gets funds releases as they hit construction milestones. Step 7. You receive the property at construction. The building is finished and you do your snagging inspection and you make your final payment. And the developer hand over the keys. Step 8. You get your title deed. After the final payment and the handover, the developer transfers the title deed to your name. This is your full legal ownership document issued by the Dubai Land Department. This is the protected process. Every payment goes into escrow. Your ownership is registered with the DLD from the moment you get your OCUD. Before you make any payment to an off-plan project, verify the escrow account. Ask for the escrow account number. Ask from which bank it is, and you can check and verify the escrow account number on the Dubai Land Department website. This isn't paranoia, this is basic due diligence. I've seen situations where a buyer paid money without verifying escrow. The developer wasn't legitimate and the money was vanished. Verify escrow before you pay a single dirham. DLD. DLD stands for Dubai Land Department. This is a government land registry. Every property transaction in Dubai goes through DLD. They issue title deeds, they record ownership transfers, and they maintain an official registry of who owns what. Your title deed is issued by the Dubai Land Department. It's official legal proof that you own the property. Your OCUD, that's the pre-title deed that you get during construction, and is also issued by the Dubai Land Department. When you buy a property, the transaction gets registered with DLD. Your ownership is on government record. It's protected by the UE law. This matters because in some countries, property ownership records are messy and corrupt. You buy property and you're never quite sure if the paperwork is legitimate. In Dubai, DLD registration means your ownership is rock solid, government-backed and legally protected. Once you have your OCUD during the construction or your full title deed after completion, you own that property, period. So here's what actually to do to protect yourself. Before buying off-plan, verify the RERA registration, go to the website to check the project and confirm it's listed. Verify the escrow account, get the account number from the developer. Either you can call the bank or confirm on the website. Confirm it exists and that your payments go there. Use a RERA licensed broker. Check their license number, make sure they are legitimate. Review your SPA and understand what you're agreeing to. Check the title deed validity if you're buying secondary market. Make sure there are no outstanding issues. These 5 steps prevent 99% of problems. Do them every single time. Dubai's legal framework is strong, but you need to verify everything yourself. Next, let's talk about finance options and whether this actually makes sense for your situation. Section 7, finance options and reality check. Okay, let's talk about the actual numbers. What returns you can realistically expect, which finance options make sense of your situation, what returns you can realistically expect, and which finance option makes sense for your situation, and the mistakes that kill returns. First, let's match your finance options to the situation. You've got high cash reserves and you want immediately income. Buy secondary market. Pay cash and rent it out and start generating returns from month 1. You've got limited cash but strong monthly income, off-plan with the developer payment plans. Spread the cost over 2 to 3 years and lock in appreciation during construction. Get your golden visa immediately. You want leverage and you qualify for a mortgage? Use bank financing. Put down 20 to 25% and use the bank's money for the rest. Keep your cash liquid for other opportunities. If you want the golden visa fast and you've got the capital, buy an off-plan worth 2 million dirhams or more. Pay the booking deposit, register with DLD, and start your visa application. You don't need to wait for the construction to finish. Match your strategy to your situation. Don't buy off-plan if you need income today. Don't buy secondary market if you don't want maximum appreciation. Now, the numbers everyone wants to know. What can you actually make? Rental yields in Dubai range from 5% to 12% annually, depending on the area and the property type. Downtown and Palm Jumeirah, 5 to 7% annually. Premium areas have lower yields, but strong demand. Business Bay and Marina, 7 to 9% annually. High demand areas with strong tenant pools. Appreciation over recent years has been 5 to 50% annually. Some areas more, some less. Business Bay and certain offline projects have seen 20 to 30% appreciation over 2 to 3 years time. That's not typical, but it happens in hot areas. Let me give you a real total return example. You buy an apartment for 1.2 million dirhams. That's 327,000 US dollars. The rental yield is 8%. That's 96,000 dirham per year in rental income. Over 3 years, that's 288,000 dirham in rent. The property appreciates 20% over 3 years. That's 240,000 dirham in equity gain. The total return in 3 years is 528,000 dirham. That's about 144,000 US dollars. On your initial 1.2 million dirham investment, you made 44% in total return over 3 years time. That's rental income plus appreciation, about 14 to 50% annually. These numbers are realistic in strong areas with good properties, but are not guaranteed. Some years are better, some are worse. Now, the mistake that the story returns. Mistake number 1, not budgeting for your service charges. Service charges in Dubai run 8 to 25 AED per square foot annually. That's $2 to $7 per square foot. A 1,000 square foot apartment could cost you 6,000 to 7,000 US dollars per year, just in service charges. People forget this. They budget for the purchase price and the mortgage. They forget the ongoing costs. Your rental yield drops by 1 to 2% when you factor in your service charges. Mistake number 2, buying property that doesn't match your tenant demand. Studio in a family area or a 3-bedroom in a party zone. Wrong property type for the location means your unit sits empty. Know your tenant's profile before you buy. Mistake number 3, picking the wrong developer. Buying an off-plan for an unproven developer to save 10%, then the project delays for 2 years or never finishes. You lost time and money. Stick to proven developers and pay slightly more so you can sleep better. Mistake 4, skipping legal verification. Not checking the RERA registration, not verifying escrow, not reviewing your SPA with a lawyer. These steps take a few hours, and skipping them can cost you 6 figures. Mistake 5, overpaying. Not knowing the market rates, not negotiating, and accepting the first price because you don't have local knowledge. This is where working with a broker who actually knows markets saves you money. Dubai real estate works, returns are real, and the tax benefits are real. And the golden visa opportunity is real also, but only if you do it right. Wrong developer, wrong area, wrong property type, you're going to struggle. Right developer, right area, and a property that matches the demand, you're building tax-free wealth in a growing market. Let me wrap this up and tell you what happens next. Alright, you went from a complete beginner to understanding the entire Dubai real estate system. You know what properties you can buy. Secondary market for immediate income, off-plan for appreciation and payment flexibility, and distressed deals when they pop up. You know how to pay. Cash for speed and negotiation power, developer payment plans for spreading cost over time, and mortgage if you're a resident with stable income. You know which developer to trust, Tier 1 for zero risk, Tier 2 for strong track records, and you know the red flags that tell you to walk away. You know where to buy. Business Bay for yields, Dubai Marina for young professionals, Dubai Hills for families, Downtown for prestige. Match your property to the tenant's demand. You know the exact purchase process, step by step for both ready properties and off-plan. From booking to Okud to title deed. You know the legal protection, RERA registration, escrow account, DLD ownership records, and how to verify everything before you commit. And you know the realistic returns, 5 to 9% on rental yield, 5 to 50% appreciation in strong years, total returns of 10% to 20% possible when you get it right. Most people who've already bought property here don't know half of what you have just learned. So here's what happens next. If you're serious about investing in Dubai and you've got serious capital and the timeline, there's a consultation link in the description below. Book a call with me or my team. Come prepared with your budget and your investment goals and when you're looking to move forward. We'll figure out if Dubai makes sense for you. We'll identify the right areas, the right developers, and the right property types. And if it fits, we'll walk you straight through the entire process, from finding a property to closing a deal to getting your keys. This is how wealth gets built in 2025. Tax-free income, strong appreciation, and real assets in a growing market. You've got the knowledge, now it's about execution. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions about Dubai real estate, leave a comment down below.